Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Cherries Army YouTube channel. It's 7 o'clock, 45 minutes till kickoff, and this is Lineups Live. I have Steve Hensman joining me on this show. How you doing, Steve?
Hi, buddy. You all right?
Excellent stuff. If you're joining us on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber already, please do subscribe for AFCB content and enjoyment. And if you're joining us on Twitter, thank you for joining us. And you can also subscribe on YouTube at your earliest opportunity. Before we get the lineups up then, Steve, let's look about what happened last night in the fixtures in the Championship. A Cardiff win and dropped us out of the playoffs until today's game.
Yeah, I think it could be a bit of a ding-dong battle from here on in, the way they're going. Yeah, a big statement of intent. I mean, to beat, resurgent under Rooney Derby team, 4-0. It's quite a convincing win. Yeah, we need to be on our toes and we need to be batting that back to them and getting back up there again.
Jonathan Woodgate said yesterday that he was glad to see the performance on Saturday. He was glad to see some fight and some aggression, and he said the team was coming together in one direction. That's got to be a good sign as we go into Bristol City.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, I mean it's something a lot of the fan base has sort of been mentioning over time, that we kept chopping and changing, and Woodgate's come out and said he wants to stick to a formation, he wants to stick to a style of play. And it seems like he's sticking to his convictions with that, and he's going again.
Let's do it then, Steve. We always do the opposition lineup first, so let's have a look at Bristol City. Nigel Pearson's first game at home. They line up as Bentley in goal. I assume it's Jack Hunt, Viner, Mariappa, Callas, Sessegnon, Nagy, Baconson, Palmer, Mackie Wells and Jeju, and the bench is also there as well. So 2 away wins for Bristol City under Nigel Pearson, although one was with him in the stands. First game at home for Nigel Pearson. What are you expecting from this Bristol City team?
Well, he seems to have settled on like a back three or a back four. Back three or back five sort of system, with like 3 and then 2 up top, if I'm right in thinking that from what I've seen. I watched the highlights of the Swansea game. They were pretty awful the first half, but then they did come out second half. He changed it up a bit. So he's not scared to make the changes if he needs to. It'll always be very organised. You know what you're going to get with Nigel Pearson's sides. And they do carry a threat in some of those, like Naki Wells, Jeju. I think they've got Chris Martin on the bench, maybe, proven goal scorer at this level. Mariappa, he's played in the Premier League. They've got some good quality in that side.
Yeah, and a team that's apparently struggled in large spells this season after their good start to the season, but they've got 6 goals in 2 games. So there's a goal threat there, as you say. Mariappa, a player that's definitely got experience, like you said, and would he make them tough to break down at the back?
Well, yeah, I think so. I mean, he's getting on a bit in years now, but at this level, I think he's more than experienced. And they've got a couple of other little players in there. I mean, I think that Palmer lad, he's midfielder. He's played in England youth setup, so he's obviously quite a talent. Yeah, there's definitely a threat, and they'll definitely be organised.
Are you worried that Jonathan Woodgate is going to try and look at Nigel Pearson from the touchline and try and outsmart him, or are you just hoping that he's going to leave it to the on-field players to try and get the business done tonight?
I hope he's not going to try and outsmart him, because he's a wily old fox, is Nigel Pearson. He's seen that, been there, done it all. No, I think he'll let the quality he's put out on the pitch, shine for us. I think that's what he's got to trust in the players to bring their A games, and don't try and focus on what they're going to do. Focus on what we're going to do and how we're going to approach the game and attack them.
I think you were hoping for an unchanged team, and we're going to look at it in a minute. And Jonathan Woodgate said in his press conference that there's certain players that are just the first names on the team sheet, and one of them was Jeff Lerma. Some games he was up to at the weekend, but I was glad to see it because I think we've been a bit soft at times this season. But Jeff Lerma, we'll see the team line up in a minute, but you're glad if he's in there?
Yeah, I mean, he did go for a bit of a lull, as I think a few of the team did under the back end of Tyndall's reign. But under Woodgate, he seems to have, as a couple of others have, upped their game a bit. And what we saw on the weekend from Jeff was, yeah, it was choice to be said. Yeah, it was sneaky, shall we say? How he never got a yellow card still it amazes me. But yeah, if he goes through the rest of the season doing that every game, I'll be more than happy. To be fair.
For everyone who's joining us, not long till kickoff, let us know what you think about the lineup. We're going to drop the team, and this is your AFC Bournemouth team. Jonathan Woodgate's pick for tonight's game. Okay, so in goal, Asmir Begovic. AFC Bournemouth don't drop the team like they used to, so it's in number format. So we've got Steve Cook, captain, Lloyd Kelly, Jeff Lerma, Dom Solanke, Arnaud Danjuma, Adam Smith, Lewis Cook, Carter Vickers, Stanislas, Ben Pearson. On the subs bench, we've got Mark Travers, Jack Stacey makes a return to the squad, Diego Rico, Chris Mepham, Philip Billing, Raquelme, Anthony Long, and Sadie makes a sort of shock start in the squad there on the subs bench. An unchanged team, Steve. You happy to see that?
Very much so, mate. Yeah. I was listening to a couple of lads said on the back of the net podcast that the little scuffle that happened. I'll say little scuffle. It's quite a big scuffle, but that could have galvanized that team into like a bit of a siege mentality. You know, they've been probably chatting about it all week, so I'm glad to see the same lot out on the pitch again. I think it could be a sort of kick up the arse we need sort of thing.
So I think it looks like a 4-2-3-1, but it can quite easily become a 4-1-2. But with Ben Pearson having a man-of-match performance the other day, and I think we're unbeaten, and we don't concede goals when he does play, he's so pivotal, I think, to what we're going to achieve in the next 13 games.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, he can. I'd be quite happy to see him play on there on his own, because I think he does it so well. He marshals the defence in front of the defence, and he spots danger. So he's really good at that. I think if you do play with the two there, Lerma's probably going to be the one who's going to advance more anyway. So yeah, I mean, like you say, he was man of the match on Saturday, and for me, so far, we've seen a hell of a player we've picked up there for very little money. So well done to Jason for that one.
Two fullbacks. Lloyd Kelly had a much improved performance, and something we want to see from Lloyd Kelly. I want his development to improve because I think it has levelled out a bit. Adam Smith, a player that's returned to form, but now he's got Jack Stacey breathing down his neck again. Do you fear that Adam Smith will know that is coming from Jack Stacey?
Well, yeah, but it's it's cliche that it's good to have competition for places. It keeps everyone on their toes, doesn't it? And Smithy, his energy levels have been really good lately. You know what you're going to get with Adam Smith, but I don't think he's going to retain the spot personally. I think Jack will come back in because I just think he's more of he's got more. He tends to get beyond the midfielders a bit more than Smithy does. Smithy always cuts inside, comes back a bit. So unfortunately, as much as he's been playing well, I just think when Jack's fully fit, I think he's back straight in that spot.
How do you feel about Danjuma when he can be frustrating for 81 minutes, but he scores the winner? I mean, how are you up to that 81st minute?
I'll tell you what, I'd hate to play with him. he'd drive me nuts. But like we've alluded to before, you leave him on the pitch because he can create something out of nothing, and he can be your match winner from when you think there's not a lot in a game. He did play better in a defensive-minded role. Well, not defensive-minded role, but he did track back a bit more on Saturday. He was a bit more sticking to his task, should we say. But then, quick ball over the top, he's alive, the others are napping, and we've got a goal. And that's what he can create, that sort of stuff. And I think also that Solanke being up there as well really helps. It's not all the onus on Danjuma and Stanislas to be creative, because Dominic can be very creative as well.
If you're one of the 30 people currently watching over Twitter and YouTube, make sure you hit that like button on Twitter and make sure you hit that heart on Twitter if you are watching, and make sure you subscribe. Let's get those likes up before the end of the show and before the game starts. Dominic Solanke, a player that scored 10 goals, Steve, in the season, had his first setback of injury, and a player that's getting very close to needing 1 goal per game to hit that 20+ goal target that I set him. Dom Solanke, does he get back to scoring ways tonight?
Does he know you set him this target?
I hope so. I think he watches back of the net, so I hope so.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, he came in, came in when we weren't expecting it last game, and he did really well. I mean, it was such a difference to have him up there and holding onto the ball, little moments, dribbling past 2 or 3 players in no time, and then he's opened up the space for the others. He will need to get. Yeah, he could really do with a goal tonight. We want to get him back scoring. Yeah, and he's quite capable of getting to that 20, I think.
A good team on paper, like it always is, and a unchanged team from the weekend that we hope can kick on with another away win tonight. Well, and that'll take us to 5. This is your opportunity to get your score predictions in the chat. Let us know what you think the score will be, and in a moment we'll put them on the screen. And make sure that you join our subscriptions on YouTube, and we'll take a look at what's currently happening and the league table in just a moment. So a fixture that didn't go well for us last night was a Cardiff win, and currently some games have already started. So we've got a Norwich 1-0 versus Brentford in the 77th minute. We've got QPR currently playing against Barnsley, Watford against Wycombe, Bristol City versus Bournemouth, Sheffield Wednesday versus Rotherham, and there's also Stoke in there as well, which I'll show. Norwich against Brentford, does that really change anything for us, or is it a case of us just focusing on ourselves?
Well, if we've got any designs on second place, it does, because Brentford dropping 3 points there. Norwich are running away with it, aren't they? So I would it's only really second we got to aim at. So I'm quite happy with that. Especially if we can put a little run together. There's no reason we can't still squeeze into the top 2, I don't think.
And there's also Stoke against Swansea there, with Swansea losing against the opponents that we are playing this evening. If Stoke can get a result there, will that help us out a bit as well, with Swansea losing again, possibly?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Any of those teams losing's a bonus, isn't it? After the run we went on, last month. But yeah, any ground we can make back on them is a massive bonus. So yeah, all positive at the minute.
With kick-off upon us then, you'll see us in 7th. So with a win, that'll take us back into the playoffs. Reading got back to winning ways. Well, they were winning again yesterday as well. So it's just a case of sticking with the pack, getting us back into those playoff places and keeping our noses ahead, as you can see the league table. Right, let's take a look at some of those scores that are coming through. Thank you for everyone for joining us. Let's have a good game tonight. So we've got Chris, how you doing? A 3-1 away win, the famous 3-1. We've got a 7-2. Is that to us or to Bristol City? Hopefully for us. That'd be a good game, wouldn't it, Steve? 7-2. That'd be a cracking game.
Well, we've had one of them this season, didn't we? Villa and Liverpool.
2-1. How you doing, Cameron? 2-1 to AFC Bournemouth. Jack is also going for the famous 3-1. Mark Cole.
I think Sammy's been getting at people here.
Absolutely. Mark Cole, how you doing, Mark? It's a 0-1 away win for Bournemouth. There she is. 3-1. Nah, he's back. He said 7-2's gone. 2-0 to the Cherries. Back of the net, Sam Davis, how you doing? 3-1 to the Cherries, going for the famous 3-1. Mark Singleton, 2-1 to the Cherries. How you doing, Daniel, in the States? 1-0. So all Cherry results there. What you fancying, Steve? What's the score?
I actually went for a 1-1. I think it was on someone else's show. I mean, I think it was show yesterday. But I think we're going to sneak it. Actually, I've got a bit of a feeling. I think we're going to do a 2-1 now.
Yeah, I'm going to go for 2-1 as well. This issue we're having with scoring early goals, haven't scored an early goal in the first 20 minutes since December the 12th, have only scored 2 goals in the first half in the last 11 games. Is that a concern, Steve, that we're not setting our stall out early enough? Because I think it would set us up perfectly in most football matches.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be ideal, wouldn't it? I mean, everyone wants to get off to a quick start. I don't know if it's a specific thing, a game management thing. Who knows? But I just want to see us get at teams really early. I mean, I don't really mind when we score. I just want to see us pressing high early on, straight from the get go.
Let's do it then. We are 30 minutes from kickoff. Time for you to get your drink and what you need and any snacks to get through the game. I'm going for a 2-1. As I said, there'll be no 10-minute watch along tonight, but that will return. But we will look to put a post-match review out after the game. So look out for that. If it's not out this evening, it'll be out in the morning. Thank you to everyone for joining us. As I said, on Twitter, we've got over 30 people on Twitter and YouTube. If you're not on YouTube, head over to YouTube and subscribe. We are 25 subs away from 300. So let's get there together. Thank you to everyone. Enjoy the game. We'll see you soon. Steve, thanks for joining me.
No problem, mate. Anytime.
Let's have a good game. Come on,
Enjoy the
Woodgate.
game.
Come on, the team. Up the Cherries. 2-1.